Rightsizing this morning in the right place. We've been doing this the right way the past few months or so with social distancing for easy right sizing on KFOR. This morning, Janine Bryant of Changing Spaces SRS is where she needs to be, and that's just 6 feet away from me for this conversation. Good to have you back in the studio,
Thank
Janine.
you, Dale. It's good to be here. And yeah, we're still 6 feet apart, so it feels good. We can see each other's faces as we have this conversation, so it's good to be back.
We put our masks down and we get into a good conversation.
We unfogged our glasses.
Yeah, we're both glasses wearers, and those of you listening know exactly what Janine and I are going through. I read the other day, Janine, that people get the benefits of right sizing, but it runs contrary to what we're taught, and that is the American mantra of you work hard, you buy things that your parents couldn't buy, and you put it all together, you get the bigger house, the bigger TV, more stuff. And on this show, we say it's not the stuff you buy, but it's the stuff you keep.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
So go ahead and get your stuff, but know when to stop getting stuff.
That's right.
And getting rid of stuff.
Bigger isn't always better.
No,
right?
it's not.
And that is kind of the American way, and it's sort of been in the American psyche for the last several decades, and it's changing, I think. And that is why so many of my clients that I work with, older adults, are saying, my kids don't want my stuff, or my grandkids don't want my stuff, and they don't understand, because I do think that psyche is changing. And, over the last 12 years at Changing Spaces SRS, we have helped seniors let go of the stuff that didn't matter so much to them, and we've helped seniors move out of a larger home and into a smaller one. And that transition is not easy. It's a big transition. It's difficult. And if it were easy, I always say I wouldn't have a job. So as throughout the last 12 years, we've watched those seniors go through this transition, and so many of them have done it with so much dignity and grace that it's really been inspiring. And then I will admit that we have seen the other side of the coin as well, and we've seen clients and their families struggle and fight through this process. So it's been really a privilege for the last 12 years for me to witness that and to interact with all of these clients and to really identify what is it that those folks who are navigating this transition successfully, what is it that they're doing that makes the change a whole lot easier? And then on the flip side, what are the other folks who are struggling through this transition? What are they doing that makes it so much harder? And boy, I consider that a huge privilege because I'm using them as my role models. I want to be like those folks who are navigating this transition with peace when I get to that point.
And over the years, you have listened and you have learned to come up with a top 10 of right-sizing things that seniors know.
That's right. Yeah. These, I developed a list because I thought it was interesting to share with others all of the things that I feel like these right-sized seniors know and that allowed them to navigate this transition successfully. So I thought I would share them this morning with our dear listeners. So, as I said, there are some families who struggle and fight over the stuff. They struggle and fight over the transition and over the decisions and who gets to make the decisions and who has the power and what's the timeline like and all of that. But then there's the other side of the coin where people are really succeeding, and really this transition kind of binds their family closer together, believe it or not. And so let's run through this list, okay, shall we, Dale? The first thing that right-sized seniors know is that stuff is just stuff. Stuff and people and memories are not the same thing. Stuff can't replace people or memories or love. Right? And so if a couple of grown children are helping their family through the downsizing process and one child gets more stuff, gets to keep more stuff than the other child, there's not that fighting, okay, in between, because those folks know that stuff does not equal love. It doesn't mean that mom and dad loved you more or loved me less because you got more stuff or whatever. Stuff is just stuff. It's not love. It's not memories. So it's just stuff. Okay, the second thing that these folks know is that things don't hold memories. People do. You guys have heard this before. If you're a regular listener on Easy Rightsizing Radio, stuff doesn't hold memories, people do. And just because I let go of an item doesn't mean I'm going to let go of the memory of that person or of that time or place that it reminded me of. This again, this applies to seniors who are downsizing out of a larger home and letting go of a lot of their things. Letting go of the stuff doesn't mean they're letting go of their memories. And it also applies to older adults, middle-aged adults who are cleaning out the homes of their parents after they've died. If they let go of their parents' stuff, it doesn't mean they're letting go of their memories of their parents, right? They're still going to remember their parents, even as they're letting go of that stuff. Okay, number 3 is if I haven't used it in 12 months, I'm not going to use it.
That's a strong one for me.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to let go of that stuff, right? If you haven't used it in the last 12 months, I don't know, let's just take an example, skiing, downhill skiing. Maybe downhill skiing was something that you and your family did, for years. And now if I'm working with a client who's in their 80s or 90s, maybe downhill skiing is not part of their yearly routine anymore, right? Maybe they've given up the vacation home that they had in Colorado and they're not going skiing. But boy, they've got those sets of skis down in the basement, and those things have so many positive memories attached to them, but you can let them go now, right? You haven't used them in 12 months or more. It's time to let them go. The fourth thing that right-sized seniors know is that I can bless someone else with my excess. This is one of my favorites. Letting go of all those extras in my house can actually be a blessing to someone else in my community. And of course, as we talk about all the time, it's also a blessing to yourself, right? Letting go of all that excess in your home makes you feel better. And if you do it in the right way, and if you're conscious about it, it can also be a blessing to someone else in the community. So someone else in Lincoln could use all that extra junk in your house that you're not using.
And haven't used, but for them it's brand new.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Number 5. The most important stuff in my life isn't stuff. It's my health, my relationships, and my experiences. So if we lost all of our stuff today, what we would have is still the most important stuff in our life, right? We would still have, hopefully, our health. We would have our relationships. We would have our memories. So the stuff, even though we focus so much on our stuff, it's really the least important part of life. And I think, again, one of the things that I feel so humbled and honored about with my position at Changing Spaces SRS, that I get to work with seniors, I think that really when you are in your 8th or 9th decade on this planet, I think you start realizing that. Right? Because you don't have 30 years left to live. You're done wasting time, and you're done wasting time thinking about and dealing with and worrying about stuff. You're going to focus on your relationships and your memories, and hopefully creating more memories and your experiences. And if you can really grasp that idea, I think that you live a happier life and you're able to navigate transitions a lot easier.
I'm finding, too, that size doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size of what are precious to me right now are the little sticky notes that grandkids write.
Oh, yes.
Or drawings that grandkids make. Save those. So size really doesn't matter. Collect those little things.
Right. And I think that we can all remember, when you're young and you're trying to make it in the world and you get your job and then you get a promotion and you start earning more money and you get bigger cars and bigger houses and you go up. And there's this quote that I see sometimes on social media that we spend the first half of our life collecting our possessions and then the second half of our life distributing the possessions. And it's just kind of a silly cycle. And boy, we waste a lot of time and money and energy on it.
Number 6, less is more.
That's right. Less stuff equals less to clean, less to organize, less to worry about, and less to store.
More free time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number 7 is just because I used an item in the past doesn't mean I have to keep it forever. There we go, back to the skiing example. Okay. Or, a lot of times for men that I work with, it's woodworking. Maybe they were a fantastic woodworker for years, but it's not part of their life anymore. Maybe physically it's not going to happen. And so to think about letting go of all of those woodworking tools can be difficult. But boy, first of all, if you can give it to someone in your family, if one of your family members can use it, but even if no one in your family wants it and we end up selling it, to know that, that hobby wasn't really your identity. It was part of your experience and part of your memories. And now that it's not part of your current reality, it's okay to let that stuff go. Number 8 is just because my children and grandchildren don't want my stuff, it doesn't mean they don't love me. Stuff and love are not the same thing.
Went through that.
That's right.
Son didn't want my stuff.
That's right. And he still loves you, right?
Sure he does.
He just doesn't love your stuff, and that's okay.
Don't blame him.
Did you love your parents' stuff? No. He's shaking his head, everyone. Yeah.
Not the way they thought I would.
Right. I think that sometimes it's helpful to flip it on its head because you think, well, my stuff is great and my kids should want my stuff. But then you think back, well, would I want my parents' stuff or would I want my grandparents' stuff? Maybe not. Number 9, we've talked about this before on the radio here. Change is inevitable. I'm going to walk through this change with as much grace and dignity as I can muster. It's a conscious choice, isn't it? And change, if this year has taught us anything, right? Change is inevitable. None of us are really in control of what's going on, but we can walk through those changes with as much grace and dignity as we can. And then the final thing is that, of course, the hearse does not come with a trailer. When my time comes, I can't take it with me. Something important to remember, right?
The hearse doesn't come with a trailer.
Yep.
That I will use that because that describes a lot about the end of life.
Mm-hmm, that's
you take
right.
with you the memories. Mm-hmm. You don't wish that you would have stayed at work an extra hour. You wish you would have stayed at home an extra hour.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, one of the biggest privileges about working with my clients is that I think when you've been around as long as they have, they start realizing those things. And I feel it's a privilege to start to realize those things now while I'm in midlife.
Mm-hmm. For right-sizing tips, videos, and resources, go to easyrightsizing.com. We want to leave time to talk about an event that you have planned here later on in the month of July. These are always big attractions, in my opinion. A lot of people have stuff that they don't know how to get rid of, document stuff.
Yep. Yeah, we are sponsoring a free shredding day coming up on Saturday, July 25th. And it is going to be from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 2-hour window, and it's going to be held at our office. Our office address is 5621 South 50th Street. That's 5621 South 50th Street. We are located right by 50th and Old Cheney. We're just half a block north of Old Cheney there. And on Saturday, July 25th from 9 to 11, we're going to have a drive-through free shredding day. You don't even have to get out of your car. All very safe. We'll have team members there. You can pop the trunk and we can get your documents out of the back of your car, and we'll have Paper Tiger shredding there on site, shredding your documents and helping you to right size some of that stuff that's collecting in your filing cabinet.
The old bills, the old documents that no longer are applicable. They've expired. They've outdated.
Bank statements from 1986. Got any of those? I'm sure some of our listeners do.
So again, that's July 25th, 5621 South 50th. Every Sunday morning, we're here talking about right-sizing the right way with Janine Bryant. Thanks for joining us, everybody.